to another season of Single in the City. This is season 6, and I am your host, Genesis Moore. This is my lovely co-host, Miss Tiara Berry. And for the first time ever, our new co-host, Mr. Justin C. Gilbert. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Welcome. Thank you so much, ladies. So glad to be here.
Oh, we're happy to have you.
Happy
to have some male opinion in here as we talk about all these things. Tiara, you ready for another great season?
I'm excited. I feel like enough time has passed for us to have some fresh new topics and fresh new insights. So excited to see from all of our different perspectives what we're going to talk about.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And I just want to say, it feels really good to see you guys in person.
Absolutely.
I know we did virtual all last season. It was fun, but isn't the set beautiful?
Amazing.
Look at us. For those of you at home, we are at our actual studio today. This is how we will be shooting Single in the City, which is very exciting for us. We'll get the audience soon enough, but happy to be here with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess let's kick it off. You know, last season we talked about being a high-value Christian single, and that was fun. That was really, really good. But, you know, I got a lot of new friends off of the topics that we talked about last season, so I wanted to bring up some of the things that they had to say.
Okay.
Number one is, would you go on a second date with a guy, mostly for Tiara, if he did not pay the bill? And Justin, do you think that that's appropriate for a guy not to pay the bill on the first date? But that's what my friend said.
Well, if he didn't pay for it, who did?
I mean, they went Dutch.
So they can't go back in that restaurant. Because, I mean, if it's my favorite restaurant, then I'm going to pay for the food because I'm going back there. So if the food is good, I'm paying for it because you're not going to have my name plastered across the wall like she can't come up in here anymore.
Well, it was more of like at the end of the day, he told her, you pay for your food and I'll pay for my food. And we'll split the check. Like the check came, was like, we're splitting the check.
Justin, do you feel like a man when a woman pays for her meal? Does that have anything to do with
It
masculinity?
definitely does not make me feel any more or less like a man. I think it's about what's discussed and also who invites who.
Okay. All right, so he invited her. They went on a date. She said to me, now this is what my friend said. I'm just the messenger here. She said that, you know, she thought the date was going good. You know, she felt like she looked good. She thought he was nice looking too. They go to this nice restaurant. He suggested the restaurant, you know, and they get there and we're paying separate.
You know.
First date.
That's a red flag. It's a no for me.
Okay.
No second date.
No
Yeah.
second date. What about you?
And I definitely wouldn't surprise a woman with something like that. Typically on the first date, I'm paying if I invited her. So if it were going to be some different situation, she would have been notified prior to anything.
Right, yeah.
This will be a Dutch experience, but I'd love for you to join me at this place, you know?
How do you say that to someone? We're going Dutch, but you know, if you still want to go. But that's good though. That raises just another thing, which is the communication.
Absolutely.
I'm all for being upfront. Just tell me like it is from the beginning. Let me know. Can I get an appetizer? Can I get dessert? Can I get a drink, or are we doing water with lemon? Those are things that are really important to me to discuss with the guy before we even get in the car.
I agree.
Really?
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy that you're seeing often or like a first date?
I like the first date because I'm very big on personality. So if I go on one date with you, I'm not looking to just do it one time if it goes well. So I'm looking forward to it going well. I'm not necessarily going just for the food.
Well, I think I told her as a friend, I said, doesn't sound like he had a very good time.
Right.
Because if he
That
would have
could be
had a
true.
good time, you know, it would have been like, I'm trying to put my best foot forward. I was like, now, what were you wearing? What did you do? She told me what she was wearing, and I said, not my choice, but, you know, hey, everybody's different.
So do you normally expect for a guy to pay on the first date?
Absolutely. If I'm invited somewhere, I expect to be treated like a lady. I think that's a part of, you know, my experience. If you're trying to get to know me, you're trying to show me, like I look at dates like this, it's a trial period, right?
Okay.
Like you're trying to show me what it's going to be like if we get together.
Right.
And if we get together, I feel like it's a 50-50 type of thing. That's a lot of pressure for me. I'm not really, for me personally, that's not really I don't thrive in that environment.
So it's a subscription, basically, trials and carrying on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I think this dating pool, everything is so different now. So
Yeah.
a lot of times, like, unlike what you're saying, Tiara, like, most women are quick to say that they go on dates to eat, basically. So it's a matter of what the conversations were hitting on. Like, did he plan that from the get-go, or
Right.
did he at some point during the date decide, I'm not necessarily, I'm feeling a certain way, or were they having a talk about communication, and was he challenging her to see where her head was at? There's so many ways you could look at it.
That last part though, the challenge, it's like, I don't like the testy thing either.
Oh,
I
we're
know-
all testing each other. We're learning each other. What do
See,
you mean?
But these
not on the first
conversations are
date.
funny to me because it's all about the type of people that you attract. I always attract guys who want to pay for stuff because, I mean, that's the energy I give off. Like, what we doing, where we going? They normally, not to say they have money, but they have something in their pocket that they like to go out. I always say you got to eat every day anyway. So if you got to spend an extra $30, $40 with me and I'm there, then cool, you know? You got to eat regardless.
True. And do you ever foot the bill?
Do I? I will, but a lot of times they don't want me to. They don't say, you paying this time?
You don't insist? And actually, no man
I mean,
is...
sometimes you gotta act like you going in, go slow, pull out. Oh my God. And I would.
Man. I'm sorry, I'm hitting mics.
But when he, slam his car, you got it. I'll tip.
Right.
I always say I got the tip.
Do you ever like get the tip for?
Yeah, of course.
Do you ever peek at the tip? Like if you don't know this guy and he tips, are you just like,
Now that's a red flag if he's not a good tipper.
I gotta peek. I'm a peeker.
Yeah.
Like I would
Like-
be like, oh.
If the
What you
meal was
doing?
60 and you giving her
Yikes.
$5, I'm like, are you serious?
I'm like, this is
Depending on the
embarrassing me.
service, of course, but like, come on now.
Yeah. I think that's a little, I just feel like for a first date, in my opinion, if you are a man, it makes me feel like I'm in good hands. I feel protected. I feel like if I were to go on a second date with you, I wouldn't have to worry about certain things.
Right.
So I think it's the symbolism behind taking care of the bill.
Of course.
Not so much the money piece of it, because it's like, I mean,
And if you're worried about somebody being a user, maybe don't take them on a date where they have to necessarily pay like that. Let's meet up at Cascade. I know you got $12, to pay for my skates. Or if we go to the park and we're just going running or jogging, or maybe you have a dog, or we're doing something, or we go play tennis. We go do something that's outside of the realm of transactions,
Okay.
and you get a sense of their personality, and you're spending time with the person. Because that's really all a date is. It's for you to have genuine conversation. A part of it is the food, but that's not the reason why you're there.
I mean, well, now, I actually had somebody ask me one time, do you want to go on a walk with me? And I was like, "Ugh, this sounds a little axe murder-ish. I'm not going. Where are we walking to?
Right.
I feel like, especially a first date should be your best foot forward.
Okay.
So it's like, show me what it's like to date you. It's like everybody has their own thing that they're doing in their life. Everybody's got their own way that they communicate, the own way that they view luxury in their life, the things they choose, all this stuff. So it's like, give me a sneak peek into what it's like to be you on the best side. Because we got other times, like by date 4 or 5, we don't really have to do what we did on date number 1 anymore. It's like now we're really getting to know each other and stuff like that. But I also am a firm believer of first date should be somewhere where you actually get to know a person, and you're talking.
I agree. I agree. I think first dates are pivotal because that kind of makes the impression and lets those individuals decide if this is something that we want to keep doing, if we enjoy each other, if we can vibe well. I think
Right.
it's important to be super authentic. And gosh, you were just talking about how, take me back, you just took me somewhere. I
Oh,
was
the
thinking of
axe
something.
murder part, or were we?
No, the dates and walking. skip it.
Well, I was talking about how, you know, if we're going on a date and we're taking me on a walk or something like that, I'm not a person, I don't enjoy things like that.
Okay.
That's not something that would appease me. Now, not saying that that's not good for everybody,
Right.
but for me personally, I like to eat a certain way. I like, you know, and if we do something outside of that, let's do an activity,
Right.
you
I
know,
dig it.
like
I can dig it.
bowling or
Yeah,
something,
that's
but
fine.
something where it has a little bit more thought. It's a little more
Yeah.
planned.
Thought, plan, yeah.
I
And it's
gotcha.
nice
Like you
because
try.
it has to be the thought that counts in the try. It just doesn't necessarily have to be $100 worth of something.
Right. I don't think you can really put a price tag on stuff like that. But I will say, though, this. I'm going to ask you guys this, actually. Do you think the way you start sets the intention for how you would like the relationship to go? Or if that's what you're looking for? So if you take someone and, like I told her, he didn't pay for the meal, he's setting the tone and the intention like that. I don't see you maybe like as somebody that I would want to do that for, you know?
It's not necessarily true.
Okay.
I think while we are putting best foots forward,
Right.
I think it's important to give yourself room to grow. Because
True.
what happens is a lot of people start off on 100, they got flowers and candy, and that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
I say let the woman work her way up to flowers and candy. That's like a year-end birthday present. Don't get
year?
that straight up. Absolutely.
Flowers?
Don't get right
Is
to
a year
it.
in?
Yeah. Or it's a substantial amount of time after this person has proven themselves to be someone that you want to invest in that way.
Okay.
Don't give it all from the get-go. And a lot of guys mess up like that. And then the woman has an expectation that can't be fulfilled because this man is in too deep.
Well, I have my own theory about that. And I think
So
that
do I.
men that feel the need to overly do that and overcompensate are men that also might feel that they're dating up.
Ooh,
And
that's
not
good.
dating a woman that is on their level, which is why I also think the whole, you know, quote unquote, I know this church TV, but tricking,
Come
you know,
on.
it's such a thing.
Yeah.
It's because you're doing it because you're
have
trying to
be,
move up.
And you have to just be mindful of the people that you deal with because some guys, they just get flowers for any girl that they like. They be
Exactly.
like, it'd be somebody walking around, you want a rose, you want a rose, man. You know you buy roses at the club. And he get a rose for every girl in his section.
Not a
and
whole
that's just
bouquet of
how
roses
and-
at the club.
Yeah, so that's just how he is. And then there's other guys who feel like women have to work their way up to that. So I think that you have to set expectations for yourself and for others. And you don't go into something asking someone to be who they're not. Just
True.
be you. Because if somebody sends me flowers and I didn't ask for them, and we've been dating for 2 months, and it's somebody that I've talked to on and off and whatever for years, and he sends me flowers randomly because that's just who he is, you can't be jealous of that because you don't send me flowers, you know? So what was I supposed to do? Tell him turn around? No, I like roses.
I've always liked roses.
Yeah, I've always liked roses.
Interesting. Interesting.
But that was one of my favorite moments of this season.
Oh my God.
Look, and Maria is turning red over here.
Right.
He just went in on me for real. I'm like, oh my God.
What's up, House of Hope? It's the Flavor King, and welcome back to Cooking with Flavor KL. You know what time it is. It's time for me to show you how to make chili.
How do you decide what is a priority at the moment versus something that you can complete at a later date?
What feels right in the moment? Because sometimes it's like, okay, this is really high on my priority list, but I really just don't feel like it. But I think that in order to be productive is like, do what's best for what you feel like in the moment. So if this easier task is easier for you, do that and then tackle the harder task.
When it comes down to like intentions, all right, like say you go on a first date, and this is just dating etiquette, like 101, because I struggle with this. What does it look like? Can you say like, this is a person that is being very serious. I need to take them serious because they're taking me serious. And this seems very, very serious, you know? And the people that are just like, I'm just here to play around. Like, you know, what does it look like? What's the difference?
I would want to know from a man.
Justin?
Do you date intentionally?
I think all dates are intentional. Now, what the intention is could vary based on who's sitting across the table from you. But
I feel like I heard all the guys at home like, yeah.
I got y'all. It's a matter of like really determining if that woman is someone that you want to build with. So it's like that can't be determined, like that can't be like beforehand. You can't make that decision and show up saying, hey, I'm trying to get married. So yeah, we on the track to marriage. That would be strange and super red flaggish.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
And yeah, it shows that a person doesn't put a lot of thought into that compartment. They have a one-size-fits-all relationship style.
Well, we've heard about those couples who, on the very first date, they might not have said it to each other, but they felt like the love of their life was sitting across the table.
Okay.
Right?
I'm not mad at that.
Is that possible?
I've heard that
You know?
before, and I think that is possible. I think someone verbalizing it takes things to it.
Yeah.
Gets a little, that's too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon.
But the feelings could be there.
Yeah, the vibes are there. I can dig that.
I kind of think though too, this is how I look at it. Every man has a certain standard, right, on how they date. So when you go out on your first date with a guy, he's introducing you to his standard. You know, my standard is I go to these type of restaurants. I do this type of thing. This is how I live. This is my life. I'm inviting you in on a sneak peek that not everybody don't get to see because we're on the date. Right? Then I think it kind of goes to certain things that women present. Like, for example, like I told you, like my friend, she told me what she wore. Honey, them stilettos, this little bitty dress, them fishnet stockings, like I don't even know who was wearing them anymore, but I mean, you know, if to each his own, that's giving the wrong message. So I think that's something.
Well, what was the message she wanted to give?
She wants to get married. She wants to get married. But she thought that would make her look better, and like he would find her, you know, pretty that way. And I think it did the exact opposite. And so that's why I say, like, you know, and ladies, y'all have to tell us later on in the season as we keep on going, but what are some things like that are appropriate to wear for a first date? Like, what do you wear on the first date? What are some extra precautions you take on the first date? Like, for example, if I'm drinking water, it doesn't matter what it is, I'm not leaving it at the table with that person that I don't know, because I don't know what type of time they're on. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, I always make sure I have my location on for my friends. That's good. You know, in our group message. So, and then we have a code word. The code word is chicken. So if I type chicken, it means come get me. I don't want to be here no more. You know? I don't let guys pick me up on the first date.
Oh, okay.
I don't let, because I think it's unsafe. I don't want you to know where I live.
That's wise.
You know? So little things like that, but ladies, we also want to hear from you. And fellas, you know, what do you guys do to get ready for a first date? But, I mean, you guys tell me, what's some stuff y'all do?
It depends on what we're doing, where we're going. But I have to say, I end up dating a lot of my friends.
Really?
I don't really date strangers, now that I think about it. So maybe that's why I'm cool with us hanging out at Cascade because we've probably been there before already. And now it just feels like a date because we're holding hands now that we're there.
That's your mama and your grandma. Like, date somebody that somebody else knows.
Yeah, I tend to date people within, the 6 degrees of separation.
Uh-huh.
So if it's somebody who DMs me, they've been following me for a while. So even if we never met, we still feel some type of connection, or we have mutual friends, or I saw him somewhere and we've just kept in touch and laugh at each other's Instagram stories. And then he might say, hey, let's do this. And even though I never hung out with him alone in a capacity, I feel like I know him in a sense that I can trust him a bit when we're around each other because we have mutual friends. So if you do something crazy, your homeboy gonna find out about it.
This is
Yeah.
true.
You
That's
know?
a good point. I actually try to put a lot of thought into first dates because I do realize the importance of them. So in an effort, to help out or, give some perspective, I thought it would be cool to put together like a little acronym that might help the fellas,
Acronym.
have something to think about.
Help the fellas. We
You know
are
what
here
I'm
for
saying?
it. Help
and
the
you
fellas.
ladies, let me know if this lands. If this hits, let us know. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? We can make this
You
a
know,
thing.
we'll let you know.
Because we got to listen to everybody telling us what we got to do. So I'm happy somebody's helping the fellas here, too.
Right.
Yo, so I figured I would make this acronym one of the things that we hear all the time, probably the most commonly discussed male archetype, the alpha male. So we'll just call it alpha. This alpha acronym stands for appearance. This means a man needs to put thought into what looks best for the setting he's taking this woman to. So what's dope, not pretentious, very natural, what is authentic, but a great representation of yourself. Secondly, location. Where are you taking this woman? And is this place conducive for a first date? A movie theater, not so much, because you're basically focused on the screen for 2 hours sitting next to each other. That could kind of be pointless, a waste of time, a little awkward. Thirdly, presentation.
Yawn and try to put your arm around.
Are you going to try to kiss me? Please don't do that. Stop.
Not on a first date.
You want some popcorn? I'm good.
It's like, why are we here?
Yo,
It's very dark.
Right, that part. So make sure that the location is conducive for a first date. Thirdly, presentation. What you talking about? How are you presenting yourself? What are you looking to gain knowledge-wise from this woman? And what are you looking to share? I think it's best not to give everything away, maintain a little bit of that mystery so that she has a reason to come back to get some more. And
That's good.
allow her to do the same thing. Like, don't over-ask. Don't get too deep. Don't get too personal. Keep it light, fun. Handle the business. That's our H. Handle the business. Reservations and bills, fellas. First date, if we're really trying to keep it 100.
That was a really good point.
Let's park it right there, real
Park
quick.
there.
Because, and are you going to say what I think you're about to say?
What was I gonna say? I don't know.
Reservations?
I think reservations are a great idea.
I don't like when, this is just me personally, I think for a first date, women should not be picking the place.
Absolutely agree.
I don't think, like, if guys are, well, where you want to go? It's like, I mean, I thought that was kind of.
I think he should suggest, and then, like, I have the opportunity to say whether I like that place.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know?
I agree.
You know,
Of
I don't want to
course.
come up with the place, but let me know, because
But some guys are
everybody's
just,
cuisine ain't the same.
no, but
And I don't do
no.
sushi, and I don't like them real fancy restaurants where it's more plate than food, because I like to enjoy. Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So I get he tries to be real fancy and real nice, but I don't need a whole bunch of garnish and drizzle of little this and a little bit of that. Like, I like to consume my
Come on.
plate of food.
Come on.
Okay.
No, I feel that. So, like, yeah, I think it's incumbent upon the man to have a place and a time in mind. I would say a window of time, and maybe present it like, listen, I would love to take you to fill in the blank here.
Yeah.
Are you free
Yeah.
at this time? And
Ask
what
the
we
question.
do when doing that is give the women an opportunity to, like, let you know if it works for them, or, you know, you can tailor it to what will work best for everyone. I've never seen that not go over well, to present a place and time with a woman and to send that open table text confirming
Yes.
It just
That
goes
little
well.
resi.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We still good for.
Yeah.
Love it.
So that's our H. Handle the business. And then if the date goes well, fellas, always text after. Text her to let her know that you appreciated her time and that you enjoyed the vibes and you're interested in doing it again. So
Now
What do you
with
ladies think?
that though, because that's amazing.
That was good.
But let's
That was
talk
good.
about expectations as we kind of draw to a close. Are you ever fearful that being the alpha, you just set an expectation higher than you might want to live out every week? Do you say we're not doing this all the time? This was, you know?
Is it really necessary to state that, or is it based on the quality of experiences? Like, I wouldn't see myself taking, first of all, I'm not gonna go all the way. I'm not gonna go to the top on the first date. That's me. I'm gonna go somewhere, it makes sense, it's not too much of a,
It's
you know,
ambiance, but it's not doing too much.
it's a vibe,
Yeah.
not doing too much. This is a good place we can converse. I'm not gonna be pressed about, you know what I'm saying, the situation.
Right.
So as time goes on and we go to bigger and better dates, then, you know what I'm saying, that's why I think it's best to build to that sort of thing. That's the same idea as coming with the roses and candy on the first date. It's like that becomes an expectation. You're setting a precedent.
That's very true.
I like roses. And roses be cheap. Sometimes you could get them from Kroger. Like, I just like the thought. Get the big bouquet
Oh,
or get 2 of them and put them together and it's, you know.
She said get creative.
You could give me a lot. It doesn't have to be. It's the thought.
But how do you know if a woman is allergic to roses or not? So to surprise her with that sort of thing could be potentially hazardous. That's why you need to meet
But
her
that's
first.
funny. To me, that's like, you see, we saw Hitch. That's
So-
cute when he did the hives thing.
It's so funny till you need an EpiPen.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I think that's really, I think a first date should be the standard. I think that overall etiquette needs to be, this is the standard of what you're going to get, like even when it comes to women and how we look, because let's be real, y'all men don't be wanting to go out on a date with somebody that y'all feel like everybody's going to be whispering like, what she got on? Why she look like that? Why is her hair this way? You know, so we have to present ourselves to a standard, and I think the standard of the date should be right at the equilibrium of middle, high, like upper
You
middle.
gotta look good together.
Upper middle.
You gotta look good together.
Yeah, you know, but it's like give me the upper middle of what I'm gonna get, and then but we still got somewhere to go. But we're not at the bottom. Don't give me the bottom.
Yeah.
I think
And some people can be judgmental. Like sometimes you do go on a date and you looking at, you know, what they have on or their bag or their shoes. You paying attention to certain things. And I think that's just human nature. I don't think it's vanity. I just think you can get a sense of who people are
that's
by the
wisdom.
way they carry themselves.
That's wisdom.
Yeah. I think that's what. Yeah, that is. Sometimes, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you can learn a lot about a person by, you know, what they choose, how they choose to present themselves. You know what I'm saying? So if it's all Louis and, you know, their job situation isn't lining up with that, then
yeah,
you know,
it
then
has
you
to
know what it
match.
is.
Yeah.
Like this person
sure.
places a lot of emphasis on appearances.
Now, when you talk about the next part of that, and maybe we could get to this next week, but when you talk about the next phase of dating, are you calling her back the next day to say this went well, to say let's do this again, to say I'm really interested? How do you?
That's a good. What's the wait time for the second date?
That this is going somewhere. You know.
That's a great question. Well, I think the great date text should come shortly after the date, like within a couple of hours. You get home,
That's fair.
let her know you appreciated that thing. And, you know, fellas, you never want to seem too anxious or too available, because that's unattractive too. If somebody, you know, you immediately want them to just be all in your space like that, that's kind of red flag-ish. So, I don't know.
needy.
I say, you know, space that thing out, maybe the same day next week, if schedules permit. But leave it open.
That's very interesting. That is very interesting. We got a lot to talk about next
So
week.
much to talk about next week.
Well, listen, this show has certainly been a